Popish Midwife, A Tale of High Treason and Prejudice and Betrayal by Annelisa Christensen. To my parents, David and Sina Green, who taught me to be true to myself. I hope the God of truth and justice will protect me and bring me through them all and pluck off the veils and discover both truth and frauds barefaced. Elizabeth Cellier, 1680. If I did say so, I lied. Elizabeth Cellier, 1681. Preface. London, England. Hurrah! Hurrah! The King is taking his throne! On the 29th of May, 1660, 11 years of Oliver Cromwell's strict Puritan rule that had begun with the execution of the first Charles in 1649 ends with the restoration to the throne of the second King Charles, his son. A weight is lifted from London's people. For the first time in 11 years, groups meet openly in taverns and coffee houses without being arrested. Lords and ladies dare to wear colour again without fear of a turn in the stocks. And the assembly of people at fairs and celebrations is actively encouraged after years of bans. Even Cromwell's men tired of the strict soberness and austerity of the period, the interregnum, following the end of the Civil War. Suppression had been the only way for Cromwell to prevent reprisal from the Cavaliers, Royalist supporters, but now Cromwell is dead. His own parliament would rather the rightful King Charles II were fetched from exile in France and returned to the throne than have the country run by Cromwell's weak son, or any longer bear the chaos reigning since the leader's death. It is time for England's people to heal. Though there is rejoicing for the return of the King, there is a darker side to London. There is no sanitation. All human garbage and waste is thrown to rot in the streets, attracting large numbers of rats. And with the rats comes the Black Death, an epidemic of the bubonic plague, killing thousands every day. Fathers, sons, mothers, daughters leave their dead in the street for the death carts to collect and dispose of. From Sunday, the 2nd day of September, to Wednesday, the 5th day of September, in the year of 1666, the plague is ended by a baker's accident. A small fire begins in his oven, and fanned by strong wind, soon spreads through the wooden city, burning almost everything in its path. The plague had wiped out over 70,000 of London's people. The fire erases more than 13,000 homes. People have already been through so much, yet there is more to come. With regular news of the ongoing war with Holland and further the torture of Protestants in Mediterranean countries on the continent in the continuing Spanish Inquisition, people fear for the safety of their religion and their way of life. Strangers and foreigners are potential threats. Catholics are seen as worse than any other, for surely their ceremonies of eating the Lord's body and blood are sacrilegious. Their use of trinkets and idols violate the law of the Church of England, and their devotion to the Pope is traitorous to the King and his religion. As the decade proceeds, anti-Catholic hysteria heightens. Catholics are banned from any government or civil post, and even from the city itself. Catholics are not yet jailed, often beaten in the street. Priests are hanged, drawn and quartered for treason, for it is clear they cannot be loyal to both the King and the Pope. Loyalty must be to one or another. Titus Oates is embittered by his expulsion from the Jesuit training college in St. Omer for sodomy. He quickly plans his revenge on Father Thomas Whitbread and gathers to his side all those against the succession to the throne of the Duke of York, James, brother of the King Charles, and self-professed Catholic. Oates discovers a popish plot, allegedly devised by the Catholic Duke of York to murder the King, his brother, and place himself on the throne. He produces papers he'd apparently found, naming and incriminating many priests, with Father Whitbread at top of the list. Charles himself is reluctant to believe a man who cannot keep straight even simple stories or descriptions of royalty and gentlemen he claims to know on the continent, whom the king knows well. However, the government presses King Charles to allow full investigation, and he has Oates swear an affidavit to the magistrate, Sir Edmund Berry Godfrey. Sir Godfrey mysteriously disappears and is later found murdered. Oates is quick to point out how his death gives credence to the Popish plot against the king. Soon, Oates and his men set out to accuse every priest and Catholic that ever crossed his path, until the jails are overcrowded with the unjustly accused. Into these jails, a few charitable gentlewomen bring alms to prisoners, along with news and information from the coffee houses and courts. In exchange, they leave with vital accounts of the prisoners to share with families and other interested parties. One of these women is Elizabeth Cellier, once midwife to the Baron First Duchess of York, Anne Hyde. May her soul rest in peace.